Hey guys, it's me, Danny, and today I'm gonna do a little subscriber reading. So I had someone reach out to me. Her name's Kasha, and I don't always do readings on request because it's one of my paid services. But every once in a while, I just feel like I want to reach out and kind of take a look at someone's chart. So we're gonna jump right in, and we're gonna be looking at Kasha's chart, who has her personal archetype, which is Venus in Sagittarius. So let's check it out. Okay. So when she emailed me, she was a little bit unsure about the latitude and longitude. So I checked a couple of sources for the city where she was born, and this was the latitude and longitude that was pretty much on every page I looked. So she was wondering if she was unsure if her rising was either Libra or Scorpio. So can be pretty sure here that her rising's in Libra. So the ruler of Libra is, does anybody know? So we look to Venus. Venus is the ruler of Libra. So Venus is her personal archetype. So Venus is, we also call Venus Aphrodite. She's the planet of beauty and grace, sort of the goddess archetype, the princess, sometimes the prince as well. Venus tends to be the kind of person who likes indirect attention. She doesn't want you to stare, but she likes to kind of like glide through the room and sort of get some head turns. That's kind of her thing. It's a little more subtle. It's a very fairly talkative position for the rising sign in Libra there with Venus. Especially that Venus is a Sagittarius, which is a fairly verbose quality. It's the masculine sign of Jupiter, and Jupiter is very big and very expansive and is very much of a storyteller. So right now we're going to parse together what the archetype is. So again, we have Libra energy so Libra Venus owns Libra right here, and she is going to take her Venus energy to Sagittarius in the second house. So she's bringing grace and sort of aesthetics, sort of an artistic, crisp grace, that sort of energy. Libra is also associated with music, so it's kind of this aesthetic understanding. She's bringing that quality to, this is the second house of possessions, ownership, possessions, finance, and it's in Sagittarius, which has this sort of spiritual, spiritual, philosophical quality. And it's right here with Mars and Jupiter. So this is a very, she's sort of multifaceted here. The Mars gives her a lot of focus. Mars in Sagittarius is really powerful drive to really accomplish things. Mars in Sagittarius really is going to love to travel. And Jupiter is right here also in its own sign, Sagittarius. Really amazing, bringing all of that big-mindedness, that passion to her personal archetype of Venus. So she's going to find herself being supported by those characters in the chart. And she was wondering, anybody who has Scorpio in the chart really identifies with Scorpio energy. So when we look at the first house as being the house of the self, she has Mercury and the Sun right there in the first house as well. Now the Sun is actually on the second house cusp. Any planet that's within 5 degrees of the next house cusp, as long as it's in the same sign as the next house, is actually said to be sitting on that house. So the Sun is technically right on the second house cusp here. We can give it to the first house a little bit, just because I have a feeling that she's going to identify with that solar energy as well. So basically, Kasha's the kind of person who has a lot of different energies to work with. She's probably the kind of person who's doesn't like even if I'm trying to describe her in the chart, she's gonna be like, yeah, well, I'm kind of like that, but I'm also like this. People who have a lot of planets kind of involved in that first house are really multifaceted and have a lot of influences. So she's not going to identify with one archetype really. She's going to be like, yeah, well, I'm kind of like that, but I'm kind of like this, and I'm kind of like that. And that's the truth. So this is a sort of multifaceted person with a lot of different layers and the ability to play a lot of different characters in different situations because they're all really available to her. So having Mercury conjoin the Sun like this gives a lot of strong ability to be communicative in Scorpio, there's that tendency to suppress and kind of hold things back. But with the Libra rising and all that Sagittarius, which is so much more forward in terms of communication, I have a feeling that the Scorpio is not going to silence her too much. She's more likely to just really refine her communication. So she has all these ideas, all this ambition. She really has these ideas, and her opinions change all the time because Sag is a little bit all over the place, and she's got all these characters that are trying to feed her all this information, like, oh, but make sure it's well communicated, and make sure it's thoughtful, and make sure you're having integrity, and make sure this is meaningful spiritual information. So it's a really person with a lot of drive, and she reached out to me. She was really sweet. She was really it was a very accurate sort of expression of her attitude. She was gracious, she was kind. She asked me to take a look at her chart, and it was a very well executed email. She's clearly a good communicator. She understands how all this stuff works. So partner archetype, just for fun, we have Aries here, and Aries is owned by Mars, which has conjoined her archetype. So she's going to have a partner that's really in alignment with her. Sometimes they could be a little bit overbearing, kind of trying to step on her toes, and so that might be frustrating at times. But at the end of the day, a partner who's really has very, very similar interests and strengths is going to be sort of a pattern here. So the only downside again to that is that frustration of stepping on each other's toes. But if you can work with that and try to give each other space, it could be a really, really, really intimate relationship. And it's supported by this Jupiter, so again, that's going to bring some Jupiter energy to his character as well. So you're going to be dating people or in relationships with people who are very similar to you. And then the moon, as we talk about, is a planet that can sometimes hijack the chart and steal attention. This is particularly an issue for you because this Gemini moon is opposing all of your dominant energy and archetypes. So you're going to be running away from yourself at times, and you're not even going to be aware that you're doing this because it's in the 8th house, the house of things that are hidden from us. And Gemini is being the sort of hole for Gemini is kind of getting stuck in learning information that doesn't really benefit you. So Moon in Gemini is going to be like overly concerned about being prepared for certain situations, collecting tons of different types of skills and tons of different kinds of information, which is great for trivia night, but sometimes it's going to be really distracting you from your endeavors and what you're really passionate about. So what you want to do is give yourself some flexibility, give yourself some freedom, and work time into your schedule to be your Gemini, fulfill your Gemini curiosities of being a little bit all over the place. But I want you to ask yourself on a regular basis, am I avoiding I have this written on my wall. Am I inventing things to do to avoid the important? It's really, really, really been transformative for me. So I want you to put this on your wall. It's am I inventing things to do to avoid the important? And I actually got that from Tim's book, A 4-Hour Work Week. I just lost his last name, but The 4-Hour Work Week is a very popular book. It's not super up to date. There's other books that are have a little more relevant information, but it's a great read about really creating more efficiency in your life. So he says to put a sticky note on your computer, am I inventing things to do to avoid the important? So I want you to think about that because you might be doing that. Another thing I want to really mention is you've got your North Node sitting right here on the Ascendant in Libra. And so that's a really great situation because that means the more you are in alignment with your natural tendencies of being gracious and patient and just maintaining your purpose and your focus, then the clearer things are going to be for you. And it puts your South Node here in Aries on the 7th house cusp, which means that relationships can also take you astray a little bit, and also when you're impatient or you try to take action too soon, you're going to be sort of shooting yourself in the foot. So the guidance there is to be patient, try to allow things to work for you, allow the universe to bring solutions to you, because you don't have to get it all done yourself. And actually, if you try to, it's going to backfire a little bit. So that's a quick read. I also looked at your to see if you have any out of bounds planets, and you don't, which is mostly a good thing. You don't necessarily want those. I used to be kind of really interested in them, but meh. You do have the Sun parallel the fixed star Sirius. You might want to look up the fixed star Sirius. It has some interesting qualities that will bring those energies to the Sun, or to your Sun sign here in 16 degrees Scorpio, which is pretty much right on Sirius. And I can do a fixed star lesson another time, but Google the fixed star Sirius. And again, it's parallel your Sun, so if they have a nugget about that, you can take a look. I haven't worked on any fixed star blog posts yet, but maybe that's a good time for that. So thanks Kasha for reaching out. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions. Please share this with your friends. And I'm really grateful that you reached out to me. I love teaching people about astrology, and I wish you all the best. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.